Good afternoon. Again, my name is Sam Ryder, and my parents, they work for a ministry called Word of Life, which was originally founded by a man named Jack Wharton, and so that's why I picked that as the topic for this week. So, as you can see, that's the topic for today. Now, it was founded by Jack Wharton. His wife converted in 1933, and he shortly converted to the Christian religion shortly after. And he was part of a band, and they kind of just saw themselves as like the only Christians in their city. So they started going and preaching the gospel. And eventually, he and his band formed Word of Life Fellowship in 1939. He quit his job 2 years later to expand the ministry, and Wikipedia shows 1941 as the date for the founding of Word of Life. And by 1943, his rallies that he was hosting had to be moved to Carnegie Hall. So here's some newspaper clippings about the 1944 rallies. So there's a victory rally Saturday, Word of Life meeting in Hold meeting in Garden, and there was several rallies in 1944 throughout the summer of that period, as well as into the autumn, as you can see here. So that would be Madison Square Garden that they would be holding rallies in. And then you get to 1945, which I think is probably the largest rallies that they've had. And these were rallies hosted by his new organization, Youth for Christ, which is tied to Word of Life historically. 70,000 people were gathered in Soldier Field in Chicago. And after that rally, which probably was the largest one they had, there was a Bible conference in July of 1945 in Indiana, and they also had a rally there. And many of the rallies that they had were sponsored by another organization, the Christian Businessmen's Committees. So all these various organizations all kind of were tied to each other, and while it wasn't necessarily linked to fundamentalism, and many fundamentalists weren't exactly enthused about these, these were springing up and kind of were trying to tie themselves to fundamentalism while also trying to be a new kind of evangelicalism. Another newspaper clipping I found from 1945. So you have a Word of Life rally, which is going to be in a city church on September 20th, 1945. The guest speaker was going to be a soloist, and it would be Carlton Booth, who was the soloist. And you can see the exact time at 7:45 p.m. I don't know why they would pick like something that exact. But yeah, they would have all these various rallies, and this is a phenomena from 1944 to 1946. And yeah, they would preach the gospel to huge amounts of children, or more like young adults. And it was kind of like going off of the patriotism of the Second World War that brought a lot of people to these rallies. But it was kind of forgotten because, again, it's the Second World War that kind of defined the early 1940s. And so this cultural movement is kind of forgotten because it's all on the home front. It spawned the ministries of men like Billy Graham and Bob Pierce, who worked closely with Youth for Christ. I remember hearing that Jack Wharton, he wants Word of Life to be separate from Billy Graham's ministries because Billy Graham, when he would preach the gospel and people would get saved them, he would be okay with them returning back to Catholic churches. So Billy Graham was even more ecumenical than Jack Wharton. Jack Wharton, on the other hand, didn't want people going to Roman Catholic churches. So that was kind of a distinction between Jack Wharton and Billy Graham. The result of this Youth for Christ movement was that it spawned a new kind of evangelicalism, an evangelicalism that was kind of found its root in the 1940s, and since then. So those are my sources. Once again, my parents, they actually work for Word of Life. Word of Life has a ministry in Ontario, Canada. If you want to support the Word of Life ministry in Ontario, Canada, it would be much appreciated. So thank you for watching.